What? Well, but he's not wearing a helmet. And I don't care. Nobody cares.
Well, I bet some of those people probably report it to the authorities.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's the other issue now. I mean, you can't correct a child in public. Yeah. You can't do anything, and
well, they have to be your
it's sort of you know, it's shades of more Big Brother. You know, people reporting on each other, and
it's the Gestapo. It's it's that kind of whole thing where I will report on my neighbor as long as so that everybody will think I'm doing good, and we're tattling on each other.
I'd be willing to bet that's happening with people who don't recycle.
Oh, see, there you go.
Every time you throw a can away, another penguin dies.
Yes. When we come back, more parenting tips from Chad and the lightning round on Gang of Four on News Talk 550 KTSA.
Work out. You obviously do all the time. You're very trim.
11:30 on News Talk 550 KTSA. Final few minutes for Gang of Four today, right before the election. On the gang today, Nicholas LaHood, the candidate for district attorney, Ken Slavin, and Chad Benson, who Monday night starts a new show on KTSA called Talk Nation with Woody from formerly from. It's not like his name. Woody, formerly from KTF. And what is Woody's last name?
It's Mike Woodward.
Mike Woodward. Is that what he's going to go by, or is
he's going to go by Woody?
Just going to go by Woody. Just one name.
Just one. And he's like Prince.
Yeah.
He was Woody, formerly
he
known as.
Use that symbol, will he?
No. Eventually, you'll just be Chad.
That's right, Chad, like the country.
Eventually, it'll just be a C, all by itself.
Ooh. Wow.
Look at him. He's a PR guy.
Yeah, you really thought this through. No charge for that, huh? All right. He just re-imaged you. Here's a guy that could use a little re-imaging. Ken, I think this is a job for you. This guy, Mike Yucknitz.
Oh.
My Econo 39.95.
First of all, the name itself.
I know, but
his ads always gave me the creeps, and now this.
Accused of hiring a guy to stage a robbery at his house and hit his wife. 5,000 now, 5,000 later, and a free pair of sunglasses. What I want to know is, no matter what the facts of this case turn out to be, strike one, husband/boyfriend always presumed guilty. Strike two, he looks like Satan.
He looks like a pimp.
And strike three, you know, these ads have kind of, I mean, probably before this, those ads were probably in a weird way kind of brilliant because they stood out. How do you not watch him, right?
Right.
But now, how do you put this guy in front of any jury? I don't care where you move this to, and they're not already thinking, not only do I think he did this, but I'm afraid of him. You know, where do you go with this guy?
Well, he'll obviously have to get a really good haircut.
Well, I talked to Jimmy Parks about that. He said, you know, you can't just suddenly show up with a whole new look. People will see through that too. That almost makes you look even guiltier, right? You put on a good suit and get a normal haircut.
So what you're saying is you show up in that green velour jumpsuit.
I don't know.
Apparently this was a police sting, and there was a recording of the whole thing, and the police posing and saying, "How do you want me to, you know, knock her off?" And it was like, "Oh, just shoot her, I guess." I mean, it would seem to me that this is going to be a sort of pleading out thing as opposed to a trial.
But I mean, there's no way to repair. You've had to work on a lot of people's images and presentations.
Oh yeah, no.
There's not much you can do with him,
this
right?
Is pretty much irreparable.
So if he came to you and said, "Please, Ken, whatever the cost, help me," you would say, "I don't think I can."
No, I mean, I don't take clients on just because they come to me. I'm pretty picky.
Even for a lot of money.
I don't. Yes, I'm unlike some of the other PR people.
Free
you know.
eyeglasses for life.
Not from him, you know, because he was you know how he used to talk. It always it drew you in, but it was very odd. Very odd.
Is it amazing to you as a lawyer, Nico LaHood, that you must see every day? Because it amazes me just reading the news. How many people get caught in a situation, and you think to yourself, how did they ever think they were going to get away with that? How do you ever think that's going to work? I mean, I don't get it.
Well, if there was a charge for stupidity, most people would be convicted of that for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Nothing amazes me after, when you've been practicing law for some time, you see all kinds of situations, and something like this, it doesn't shock me at all. I mean, I've seen and heard worse, obviously, but this is a situation, and I don't know if Jimmy agreed with this or not, even though I hear what you guys are saying about his suits. If this case goes to trial, and I don't know if it is or isn't, I don't know who's defending him. Do you know?
I don't even know.
Okay.
It's
you still. Oh, okay.
Mr.
You still can't go into court in those outfits. I mean, still you have to take on and you have to present the proper courtroom decorum. And so even though his little shtick is those weird outfits, would have to adjust to a courtroom.
But you know, I see
and
a
it's
lot.
something that it's something that would be addressed in jury selection. You have to call it out. And
Well,
when
just
you're
you have to just
picking a
remove
jury.
the jewelry alone to get through
Wow.
the security check.
It's pretty bad.
He wears more jewelry than Sammy Davis Jr.
The metal
ever did.
detector would be a problem before the jury would be. All right, here's the thing. I see this all the time. There'll be a news story about some kid carjacked or something, and you see the picture, the perp walk, and he's a scary-looking, you know, snaggletooth, looks like a Marvel Comics drawing. Then in court, we've got the nice Sears suit with the powder blue necktie. We've got the perfect haircut. To me, that's almost offensive. Like, what do you think? I'm so stupid that if you get a supercut, I'll think you're a good person? I mean, you have to be careful with that, right?
You would have to be careful with that from the state or the defense side, because from the prosecutor side, you have witnesses also, and you have victims and witnesses, and sometimes when you're prosecuting a case, you just don't have a good victim. And that's one part of your analysis on whether you decide to try a case or not, whether, you know, is your story, is the evidence going to play out in front of a jury,
because the presumption of guilt is so, you know, strong, and I understand why. I mean, they're playing the percentages. It usually is the husband or the boyfriend.
Like 90%, right?
So, but I mean, so what makes anybody ever think they can get away with this? I'm kind of fascinated.
Because
by
people
that.
are stupid.
people.
Yeah.
People are stupid.
But this guy had to be smart in some areas of his life. I mean, he built his business. He obviously
had such a high profile. It's
successful.
amazing that he would think that he wouldn't get caught because he's so well
Because
known.
people always think they can get away with it.
they think they're the ones.
They
that
think
will
they're,
get away
oh yeah,
with it.
nobody
I'll
else
be the one
could,
that can
you
do
know.
it.
Yeah, you know, people are stupid. And that's just it. I mean, you know, how many times, like serial killers get away with it because they're killing people they don't know and people don't care about. So, but somebody like him, everybody knows that the first person they're going to look at, even if you didn't do it, which it has to be horrible, that the first thing you have to do if your wife or husband is killed is you have to start defending yourself in the public and defending yourself. Even if you didn't do it, and the grieving, you don't have time to grieve because you're going to spend your entire life hiring a PR, hiring a lawyer, scrambling. You know, but I mean, how like the Falcon Lake thing.
Yeah.
First thing that came out is she killed him. She bumped him off. Yeah. That's the first thing, and she's got to spend that time defending herself in the public eye, thinking, and she has no time to grieve.
Right.
She's got to give interviews. She's got to talk. She's got a PR firm. She's got to hire lawyers, and to defend herself with no evidence ever pointed. But still, and then everybody talks.
Well, I think as a society as a whole, we jump to conclusions and
No,
on baseless
really?
charges. Absolutely,
I do.
And
And
in
in,
the court
in today's society, word spreads so much faster
Right.
because of the social networking.
Damn social network. That should just be made illegal. We can just get rid of that. Work backwards from that.
No.
Bring back newspapers. I love old stories.
Exactly. None of this happened in the classified section, right? Well, you know, the other thing about this Mike Yucknitz guy is
What's his name?
Mike
Yucknitz.
Yucknitz.
Yuchnitz.
I know. It's a difficult name for somebody that's on trial for their life. I understand that, but because you kind of have to like screw up your face to say it. You have to say it almost like you're clearing your throat. Yucknitz. But here, the other thing that to me is kind of interesting, because I'm kind of fascinated by crime and people trying to get away with it and why they think they can and stuff like that. If you turn this around, because you said a minute ago about Tiffany Hartley, yeah, there was some suspicion. But come on, really, it's mostly suspicion against husbands and boyfriends.
Absolutely.
We don't usually think the wife or the girlfriend did it, even though there could be compelling reasons, an insurance policy, who knows what. You know, I mean, the right person to kill, if you're looking for a motive, would be the man in most cases. He usually has the insurance, he usually owns the business, maybe controls the purse strings. But we don't really think that. We do presume that it's the guy.
I presumed right away. That's the first thing I said. Wow, if those guys, you know, if he did accidentally get killed by pirates, probably saved her a lot of money in the long run trying to bump him off, because that's the first thing you think of immediately as you jump to and think, oh, she did it. She did it.
Well, people thought she did it because her story changed a couple of times. It was kind of a shaky story, and there was no evidence of his body, of what was it called, a jet ski?
The jet ski,
I mean, they
any
couldn't
of that
find
stuff.
any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So her story didn't look so great at first. I mean, I agree with you. It probably wasn't her, but you know, I don't think we jumped down her throat
We
just
haven't
because.
ruled her out completely. That's
No.
just it. She's not been ruled out, and then she moves and she packs up, and I got to get away.
You're
and
the only
that throws
person
more
there. You're
suspicion.
telling a story that can't be proven. I mean, that you should be looked at under those.
Yeah, but from an investigatory standpoint, you have to start somewhere. I mean, unless you were with the person when a third party came in to do a carjacking or an armed robbery or something like that, you have to start somewhere. from law enforcement purposes. So
Well, yeah,
you start
because-
there, you hopefully get that out of the way right away, and then you move on to something else. And
Ken, if by some miracle he is acquitted, can he go back to doing those TV ads?
No.
Why not?
you should.
Absolutely.
Notoriety?
I think there'd
Worth
be
more
there'd
than
people
anything?
thinking I think there'd be people thinking he just got away with it. I think he always, despite his weirdness, had a certain kindness about him that came through because of the special deals he would give to veterans and all those sorts of things. He did. I've seen the ads for years. He got odder and odder looking as time went on.
He did look like
because his hair got longer and longer, and he got real skinny. You know, really kind of gaunt looking.
That's why I won't lose
I don't
weight.
know. I don't know that people would trust his
like
ads
that.
anymore. But I could be wrong. Maybe notoriety for any reason these days is a good thing. But I don't think people would. Even when someone's acquitted, but it's been in the papers and on television and the internet for so long, I think
Blake.
there are a lot of people who are not convinced that he's
OJ,
innocent.
Robert Blake.
OJ, yeah.
You didn't see Robert Blake run out. Hey,
No.
guess what? We're gonna do another Beretta. No, not with you though.
No.
I think the stigma stays. I think the stigma stays with you.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, OJ. I mean, the stigma stayed with him. He wasn't working. Nobody was going, hey, we're doing, we're doing Police Academy 12. We want you to be in it.
No, he was
Yeah,
reduced
no.
to selling and his memorabilia and then trying to get it back in motel rooms.
So that
that's-
didn't work. That was another bad plan.
I was
from
going to say,
genius.
so those are your options, Mike Yucknitz. That's what the future holds. All right. A big thank you to Nico LaHood. I know this is a busy time for you. Thanks for making so much time for us this morning.
Thank you,
and
Jack.
We'll see what happens. But either way, I think you've definitely made a big impact. And
Thank you.
You're going to be on the political scene. I know you don't like the word
I-
political. You're going to be on the statesman scene.
There you go.
For some time to come.
Well,
right?
God willing, I'll be your DA on
Perfect.
Tuesday.
And maybe you'll be the DA on Tuesday. Listen for Chad, Benson, Chad, and Woody. Talk Nation, Monday night, 9 o'clock, 550 KTSA.
Right here.
And Ken Slavin, who's, I guess, going to be working with them. Right?
Well, we'll see if we do. I think that would be a lot of fun, or at least to go on the show sometime. That would be great.
We're gonna get Nico on the show,
I
too.
see where your loyalties are, Ken Slavin.
We're going to get Nico on the show.
Stepping on my show to move up to the next level.
No, there's the daytime.
Oh.
And then there's the night.
Two separate
Okay.
audiences.
Yeah, okay, I see. All
And you
right.
know I love your show.
Oh, yeah, sure. Some of my best friends.
He was,
Jazz singers.
but you already have
Oh,
an
yeah,
entertainment
yeah.
reporter, yeah,
Must
and you have a food reporter, and
Oh, yeah, you're right.
overlooked me on all of that.
Oh, right.
You have a food reporter?
No, I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh,
Just
or
agreeing with him to get out of the room.
wine reporter.
I don't know what he's talking
You
about.
have a wine reporter?
More Jack Riccardi 10 to 1 coming up on News Talk 550 KTSA.